Welcome to the Sleep to Dream Analytics Explainer video, where better sleep starts with better understanding.
Have you ever woken up and had no idea about the strange things you might have done while you were asleep? Well, for doctors, these aren't just weird stories. They're genuine medical mysteries. And today, we're going to crack the case and see exactly how they get to the bottom of it.
I mean, think about it for a second. What happens when you, or maybe someone you know, suddenly sits bolt upright and screams in the middle of the night, or starts thrashing around, looking like they're acting out a crazy dream? You might be surprised to hear that these things are pretty common, but they're a real puzzle for doctors.
Let's look at a real case. There's this 34-year-old woman, and she starts having these absolutely terrifying episodes every single night. Her husband sees it all, but in the morning, she remembers nothing. So is it a night terror, a psychiatric issue, or is it something else entirely? Getting this wrong is a big deal. It could lead to the wrong treatment, and even worse, it could mean missing a very serious underlying problem.
And here's the real challenge. The story alone, it's usually not enough to figure it out. The patient can't remember a thing, and the person who saw it happen, well, they're not a trained medical observer. To find the real answer, doctors have to become detectives. They need to go way beyond the story and see what's happening, both on the outside and deep inside the brain.
Okay, so where do you start? You go straight to the source, the command center itself, the brain. This is where the most important clues are usually hiding.
The main tool for this is the electroencephalogram, or EEG for short. Honestly, the best way to think about it is that doctors are literally eavesdropping on your brain's private electrical conversations. They place these small sensors on the scalp, and they can listen in on the signals from millions of neurons, turning all that silent brain activity into a pattern they can actually see and analyze.
But you can't just stick these sensors on randomly. There's a whole standardized map they use called the 1020 system. It's like a GPS for the brain. It makes sure that a doctor in one part of the world is looking at the exact same brain regions as a doctor on the other side of the planet. It's a universal language for understanding what the brain is doing.
So listening to the brain is a great start, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. To truly solve these mysteries of the night, you need to see the whole picture. You basically need a full-blown surveillance system.
Because think about it, a standard EEG might just miss the event entirely. Or, even if it catches something, it doesn't give you the full context. To really know what's going on, you have to know what the body is doing when it happens and what stage of sleep the person is in. Are they in a deep sleep, REM sleep? Are they even asleep at all?
The solution is the gold standard test, called a V-EEG PSG. I know, it's a mouthful, but let's break it down. The V is for video, so they're recording everything that happens. The EEG is that brain map we were just talking about. And the PSG, that part tracks everything else. Eye movements, muscle tone, breathing, heart rate, the whole shebang. It gives them a complete picture of what's happening, inside and out.
All right, so now they have all this data. The video, the brainwaves, the body functions. Now, the specialist can finally start hunting for the pattern, that specific telltale signature that's going to reveal the true diagnosis.
So, what is it they're really looking for? When they've got all that data lined up, what's the key piece of evidence? The smoking gun that cracks the case?
It really comes down to this. On the left, you're seeing the signature of an epileptic seizure. And the keyword here is evolves. The brainwave pattern is rhythmic, and you can see it change, it grows, it spreads. But now look to the right. That's an NRAM arousal disorder, something like a night terror. It's just a sudden big burst of activity that, well, it doesn't evolve. It's just there, and then it's gone. Being able to tell these two patterns apart, that is everything.
And you can't forget about the video. As this little clinical pearl from the source text points out, seeing the event is just as critical as the brain scan. That's because many seizures involve what's called stereotypical behavior, the same repetitive, almost program-looking movements every time. The video provides undeniable proof of that pattern, which can be just as powerful as the EEG itself.
So let's circle back to our patient, the woman whose episodes looked exactly like night terrors. Well, that big V-EEG PSG test, it revealed that evolving, rhythmic pattern in her brain. It wasn't a parasomnia, it was a focal seizure. And getting that right changed everything for her. Once they had the correct diagnosis, they found the right medication, and her nightly spells just stopped completely.
Now, this massive comprehensive test is the gold standard for sure, but it's not the only tool in the detective's toolkit. Doctors have to pick the right approach for the right mystery. So, how do they choose? Well, a lot of it depends on how often the events are happening. If they're pretty frequent, a simple daytime EEG might be enough to find some clues in between spells.
But for events that are less frequent, say happening weekly, a patient might need to stay in the hospital for a few days for long-term monitoring. And for people who can't do a hospital stay, there's even an at-home option, though the data you get from that isn't always quite as crystal clear.
So why is all of this so incredibly important? It's because these techniques transform a frightening, completely unknown event into a specific and, most importantly, a treatable diagnosis.
So what's the bottom line here? What happens at night doesn't have to be a total mystery. These strange events are complex puzzles, for sure. But with the right tools, like the V-EEG PSG, doctors can get a complete picture. They can spot the key patterns in the data, and for you or for anyone you know going through this, getting that accurate diagnosis is the first and most critical step toward finally getting a peaceful night's sleep.
Ultimately, these technologies give us this incredible window into a hidden world that we all spend about a third of our lives in. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? With tools that let us see and listen with this kind of precision, what other mysteries of the night are we on the verge of solving next?
Thank you for watching the Sleep to Dream Analytics Explainer video. We hope you sleep well and dream easy.